up. But look, there was a football game most recently, lads. Like I said, I did have to hastily rewrite my introduction earlier today. I was quite impressed with my first one, actually, about the Leeds win, but it was a strange game. I think it could have been 2-0 down inside the first 10 minutes. But the main thing I'm interested in is the two of you, and as well as David Sage, who made sure to bait me again on Twitter about my projected disappointment from a statement I made 4 weeks ago on the podcast. Worried about Mikel Antonio's injury and projected negativity and all that sort of thing. He was on me again. But I'm just wondering, lads, I know you two hate saying anything negative about West Ham. You think we're running a West Ham United PR machine here rather than open, honest and level analysis of our club's fortunes. Just wondering if you're willing, James Jones will throw to you first, to say anything negative about West Ham's performance after the weekend, even if we won, even though we won, in fact.
It wasn't the best performance. I agree with the comments after game from Lingard, Rice, Moyes. They've all come out and said it as it is. I think we played better this season. We rode our luck at times. You can't deny that. The VAR decision was questionable at best. We would be absolutely livid if that went against us. So you got to ride your luck sometimes, but. I suppose I haven't had a cliche yet, so it's a sign of a good team, isn't it? Winning when you're playing badly.
The new and improved mentality, surely.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it sums up West Ham this season. Again, we haven't lost 2 in a row. We bounced back with every defeat that we've had, and I tweeted earlier actually as well that one of the pleasing things about this season. See, I've gone positive again. So I've gone positive. Is that given the way this season's gone, no fans, been more away wins throughout the season than there is normally. We've got the second best home record in the league behind only Man City. How the hell has that happened? Stratford's become a fortress.
Well, it has got a moat round it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. But it's great to see that, we've not allowed the pandemic and the effects of the pandemic and football to really affect us. They've just gone out there every week, and David Moyes is getting the best out of the players. The mentality is second to none. The fact that we've won a game of football 2-0 at home, and everyone's come out and gone disappointed with the performance, says a lot about how far we've come. Cliche number 2. So yeah, it's great to see. Negative performance, positive result. I mean, what more do you want me to say?
Sign the champions, isn't it? Sign the champions. Tom, I will throw to you in a minute, Tom. So, James, well, just to sum up there, you said Declan Rice and Jesse Lingard, David Moyes come out after the game and, I quote, said it how it is. Why then do you have such a problem whenever I say it how it is after a victory?
Because every time you've said it, I've disagreed with you.
Yeah. Well, just I don't say it with a Scottish accent or a impish grin like Declan Rice does.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe you should try that next time, and I might agree with you.
Well, I mean, as we found out last week, and I've been having a few sleepless nights about it, actually, my Scouse accent when I was trying to do Aaron Cresswell was absolutely appalling. But I backed myself to do a bit of a better David Moyes. But Tom, look, I feel it's a little bit unnecessary to actually ask you for your opinions on the game on the podcast, because anyone who follows you on Twitter will have been left in no doubt whatsoever. Jonesy, just ahead of the Tom Edwards Jekyll and Hyde section that's coming up, if I could ask you to prepare some of those tweets so we could rattle off a few of them with Tom shortly. But Tom, in the meantime, in case you didn't quite get everything off of your chest on Twitter after that game against Leeds, what were your thoughts on that 2-0 victory?
Second what you both said. We weren't particularly good considering how good we were against City. We weren't brilliant. That should have been a goal. It's a disgrace it wasn't a goal. We deserved to be 1-0 down. Should have.
Which one?
Realistically,
the knee offside.
The offside, yeah. I think that's just like it didn't even look in the stills. We've got the luck, and we've got the luck this season, and that's what big teams and good teams need. To stay up there, and we've got that this season, which we haven't for years upon years. So it's all coming our way. So But the main thing was we keep winning. We keep grinding out results when we're not playing our best. The 9-day break, when everyone else has played 3 games, we've gone from 4th to 7th, seen everyone else around us. We've come out and we've got the job done again, and we've put the pressure back on the teams around us. And I think having that ability, like Jonesy said, to bounce back from losing streaks, so not even losing streaks, losing a game and winning every game after we've lost a game this season, I think means that we've stayed around there, and we keep picking up those points, and we keep putting pressure back on the sides around us. And I think it's getting very exciting. And I think there's one man who needs a lot of credit, which I'm sure you understand who it is when you hear about my tweets. But I think David Moyes is just doing such a good job with this team, mentality-wise, tactically-wise, even the way he got Ben Rama back in the side and changed such a good performance against City. So only positives really from me, because how can you doubt that team now, and when they're playing like we are in terms of picking up results?
Yeah, definitely. James, what do you reckon? We carry on this conversation, or straight into, off the back of Tom's comments there, straight into the Jekyll and Hyde section?
Straight in. I think
Yeah?
I'm just looking
Okay,
at
we're
them
trying
now.
to do one each. I've got the pre-game one. I've got a feeling 1 or 2 have been deleted since the end of the game between then and now. Don't know what you think, but do you want to go with the pre-match one, or shall I kick it off?
I'll go. The one where he's quoted the lineup.
No. I've got just one before that. Core. This is joke big tonight. Nerves through the roof. Come on, West Ham, in capital letters. And then I think it's the lineup after that. Go on, James.
Yeah, lineup one is superb. This from David, playing a team that can capitalise on the big
Very
open
formal.
spaces they leave. Love it. Fingers crossed they back him up and deliver a performance. Tonight is absolutely huge for our ambitions this season. Come on, West Ham.
Yeah. So do you think that was, I'd imagine, a little bit linked to the fact that Tom's absolute heartthrob crush, Saeed Benrahma, was starting the game. So next up we have, so this is after the game then, Jonesy, nothing during or nothing that I saw anyway, just capital letters, get in. The pride I have in this team is verging on a joke. Every single one of them loves the club. David Moyes is a special manager. In the COVID era, he's reconnected the fans. Wow. He's created a team full of cojones. I'm so happy. It's mad. We are lucky to have DM. and then the next one, James, gets even better, doesn't it? This is all caps.
So this is all caps. This tweet is actually just one big capital letter. It's David Moyes. I've never, ever, ever, ever been happier to have been proved wrong. You are a serious bloke. It was turned the most toxic club in the country around in 18 months. You, my friend, are a special man.
David Moyes, no doubt, will be thrilled to learn that he's made a new friend in Tom, and it is a special man and a serious bloke. And then after that, just lowered the tone a bit, James. Capital letters turned off for the beginning of it anyway. A nice little rundown we all got after that of the big performers against Leeds. Dawson - absurdly good. Rice, business as usual. Diop, superb. Front six, didn't even need to get out first gear. I'm so happy. It's scary mad. And then this is the bit I liked. This is all caps again, and it's a word and a combination of letters I haven't seen used before, but it's WO for a long time. So I'm assuming it's wow. West Ham fans, enjoy it, because this is mental. Jonesy, we anywhere else? I think that was it. Wasn't it? There was some. Oh no, go on. Sorry, go on.
There's one after, and this is the end. Working at net profit under owners who let you go and have given you next to no money to improve a relegation threatened squad is actually stupid to imagine just how big David Moyes' cojones are. His intervention in the club has saved us and given us belief again. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, Tom, your original reaction just then, I mean, if only you brought that sort of passion to the podcast, imagine the listening numbers would shoot through the roof. But what are your immediate thoughts sort of hearing those back?
Beauty is when you're typing and you've had a drink, you're not slurring. You have a little bit of time. There's a few spelling mistakes in there anyway, but don't think it would come across quite the same. But yeah, listen, it came out. I'd had a few. It was my mate's birthday. Saw him for a nice 2-meter drink in a park, and I just was having a good day. And then West Ham going back that up, and I really did hit me that this is getting pretty mad now. What is it, 11 games, and we're dead in a hunt for Champions League. Effectively, it's in our hands. If you look at who we play, we're playing all the teams around us at home. We've got, Arsenal, Chelsea, United,
Leicester still,
Leicester,
yeah.
all of them, to Everton, all to still play at home, and they're all our direct competition. And we're, like Jonesy said, second best home record in the league. It's getting to the point where we put ourselves in such a good position. It's so enjoyable, and I think they need a lot of praise for what they're doing, because getting to the business end of the season and we don't look like we're going anywhere at the minute.
Absolutely. Well, thank God you were here to give them that praise, Tom. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure a few of the first team squad, particularly David Moyes. I mean, you mentioned how the size of his cojones. I mean, his head will be going through the roof, won't it, if he's seen any of your Twitter. So if any of you like the sound of that at home, it's at Tom_Edwards with the the O of Tom, 0 instead. But his Twitter bio is in the at @WeAre_West Ham bio if you want to go and check that out, and just get some more. So James, I can't really decide whether I'm sort of trying to picture Tom in my head as he's writing these out on his phone. I'm not sure whether he's like sitting in a corner, sobbing his heart out, or he's like running around like a hyperactive little kid, annoying all his family as he's typing. What
Charged up.
What do you? Yeah.
I think it's the former. I think he's literally. I mean, I'm sure Tom will tell us, but I think he's just literally sitting there, maybe like on his bed with a lamp on. With a lamp on, and it's like it's raining outside. It's not raining anywhere else. It's only raining outside where he is.
Mood lighting.
The rain's crashing down. There might be a sort of flicker of lightning.
Bit of thunder and lightning, yeah.
And he's letting his heart out. He's letting it all out onto this phone. It's like
sobbing.
Like, and then as soon as it's done, picture of Mark Noble on the wall and David Moyes side by side. And when it's done, the phone goes off. It goes in a drawer. And a deep breath, and then he leaves the room, and then he jumps onto this podcast, and we'll
roll credits.
Roll credits.
Yeah. It's pure regret. His pure regret is the only thing I can say. Really, you post them, and I'm like that. Yeah, go. No.
Tom, are you able to sort of enlighten us about which ones are the deleted ones?
I wish I could remember them, but I think they got even weirder, my love for David Moyes. So I think I just woke up this morning and I just thought I've absolutely got to can this, to be honest with you. So I don't, the memory deletes it. That's the beauty of it. And the beauty of my Twitter is I post so much in a week, I never have to see these ones again. So thank God for that.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Well, look, wonderful. While we're on the topic of phones, Kieran Ben from the Sun, Leeds fan who we had on for last week's Opposition View, he's bigging up his team's chances. And I was texting him during the game. I gave him a little bit of grief, obviously, but we had a bit of a serious debrief afterwards. And, he said, look, mates, do you see what I mean about Bielsa's system? It's a system that works really well. And understandably, if Patrick Bamford had his shooting boots on tonight, we could easily, the millimetre offside early doors, we could easily have conceded 3 or 4 goals in that game. He said, do you see what I mean? That the system works really well. And if you inject some more quality into that team alongside Rafinha, will be a serious force to be reckoned with. And I must admit, obviously I watched the game earlier in the season and I haven't seen too much of Leeds this campaign. I've sort of caught them a few times, but that was the first time I did sit up and notice. Perhaps it was particularly prevalent because I had a few people getting involved on Twitter. A lot of people saying, yeah, I understand what you mean about Bielsa, a bit overhyped and all that. So I made a point of watching how Leeds play. And I was quite impressed. I did think they made us look a bit rusty. And like I mentioned already, if Bamford has his shooting boots on, we could easily have conceded 4 goals. Or if that through ball that he just about wasn't able to keep on, could have been 2-0 after 10 minutes. And there's goals in that team. So, did you find that, Jonesy, sort of after what we spoke about last week, were you impressed with what you saw from Leeds? Because I do still think that, I'm delighted that it's happened. Let me get that straight. But it was a fortunate one. But things are going for us this season, aren't they?
Yeah, as I said before, we rode our luck. I thought Leeds were good, and they've been like that all season. But they spoke about it in the post match with Robert Green and Carragher, and that's been Leeds' story all season. Is that they have like 30 chances a game, but they'll only score 1 or 2. Luckily, they didn't score any against us, but they're a good side, Leeds. Bielsa's got them playing really well with pretty much a championship side, which is what Kieran said last week. Rafinha's a good player. Still don't get the hype around Kalvin Phillips, if I'm honest.
Me neither. That's what Kieran's first message to me was. Yeah, I know we're losing 1-0, but Phillips is making Rice look like a B-Tech version of him or whatever. I was like,
yeah,
what are you talking about?
I don't know what the hype is. I don't know.
Average.
You know, a lot of people go, I don't know what Declan Rice does. It's like, well, what the hell does Kalvin Phillips do, to be honest?
Yeah. Kieran was banging on like he was some sort of modern age Pirlo last week, wasn't he? Like spraying balls around from deep.
Yeah. It's not Beckenbauer, is it? But yeah, they are a good side, and you know, they should probably be higher up than where they are in 11th. You know, finishing's been their issue. Ironically, Bamford's been probably one of their best players this season, but if he scored more, you know, if he put away a lot more of his chances,
had an off night, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could have had a hat-trick himself. So I get why everyone raves about Leeds. I do, and they probably were the better team on the night. But I think they found out this season that, you know, this in this league, you got to put your chance away. Whereas, you know, they've not been able to put a good run of results together with that. That's why they are where they are. But yeah. We were lucky in the end, I think, to be fair.
Yeah, there you go. I knew I'd eke out a slight acknowledgement of negativity from you before the end of this segment. Tom, one thing that they mentioned on Sky and they made a big deal of and became very apparent as the game wore on was, obviously we know how good West Ham are at set pieces under David Moyes, but how weak Leeds are at defending them. They did a lot of work or analysis on the goalkeeper, Ilan Meslier, because Robert Green was in the studio, of course, and it proved to be true, didn't it? Obviously, we scored one from Dawson. Dawson hits the post as well shortly after that. Excuse me. And we did look extremely dangerous. On that topic, the Lingard Rice penalty situation. Jesse Lingard obviously misses it. Meslier is really unlucky. Lingard sweeps home the rebound. Beforehand, again, as always, I was watching it with my dad and both of us getting a little bit irate. Why is he taking it? Why is he taking it? Noble's not on the pitch. Declan Rice made it clear that Moyes told Rice that he's the man to take the penalties. He scored the last one with a fairly nice finish. Why isn't he on him again? What did you make of that situation?
Yeah, this one I found weirder than the previous one where Lingard wanted to take it. I thought, fair enough, he might not be there and he wants his goal. This time I did find it strange. Rice has just tucked one away a week or so ago and we haven't got any all season. He's clearly designated taker. So that was a weird one. But yet again, it's one of those lucky things. Everything this season, not everything, but so many games this season at home, particularly Fulham, this one, Aston Villa, Sheffield United at the start, we're getting that, whatever it is, we've had a bit of luck and the rubber and green go our way in certain big moments. And usually you see him, Meslier, tip that wide and that's that. And we really struggled to get in a game because they were on top of that period. So it was that bit of luck. I don't think it will happen again. Thank God for that. And it means that Jesse Lingard keeps ticking on with the goals, even though it wasn't his best performance. We're still getting goals and assists out of him. So thank God for that. And another goal on his checkbook. Sorry. So who cares in the end?
Yeah, no, I think as long as Declan Rice takes them from now on, full stop, then I'll be happy on that one. Tom, as well, what I've written it down here. Why not let Cresswell just take all the direct free kicks? Nothing infuriates me more. And we've had it a few times recently. We set up for set pieces, be they out wide, but the ones at the against Leeds on Monday that particularly annoyed me, where there was a couple on the edge of the box. I think he took the first one and it hit Luke Ayling and just narrowly deflected wide. He thought it was going in for a split second. And I just don't understand. You know, they fannied around with them a few times early this season as well. Cresswell's got a mean left foot. He's got a track record of putting them in the top corner, particularly from in and around the edge of the box. Why doesn't he just take all of them?
Yeah, I'm a bit confused with that. And I know you're going to say my fanboy. I understand if the other side and Ben Rama's on because he's taken them in his career and maybe if he had one or two. But when you got Lanzini stepping up and Rice hitting a thunderbolt one and they're laying it off to him, I don't get that because yeah, like you say, Cresswell scored a few down the time for West Ham and usually gets them on target, makes something happen. So I think he should be on top of all of them. And his delivery this season has been one of the main factors as to why we've been so dangerous because throughout 90 minutes, our advantage height-wise and physicality in the air is we're never, ever out of a game. And I remember against Leeds, the first game, we weren't playing particularly well, got that corner and Souček just scored from it. It really can change the game in an instant, the set piece. And with Dawson in there, it's dangerous. So get Cresswell on him and stick him into the big man.
Yeah, absolutely. James, one funny thing that did make me laugh a great deal was after the landmark moment on last week's podcast of you agreeing with me when I suggested that I'd love Pablo Fornals and he works his socks off, but I'd get slightly frustrated sometimes when he gets on the ball because all of a sudden things seem to get a bit clunky and a bit awkward and a bit slow, perhaps. And yeah, people were stunned to hear that you actually agreed with me on that front. And then at the weekend, at Monday night, I thought some of the time still on the ball, there was those same frustrations again. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he nearly gives Manuel Lanzini a run for his money with that absolute thunderbolt onto the crossbar from all of 85 yards out or whatever it was. What did you make of that and his performance on the whole after what we spoke about last week?
I think it was a good performance from him. Our attacking players weren't at the races. They weren't as good as they have been. But I thought, when he did get on the ball, he was all right. I think he was one of probably our better players on the night. One thing that does let him down all season, and we didn't really mention it last week, we may have forgotten, but his shooting lets him down. That's the one thing that massively lets him down is Fornals and shooting. But then he pulls that one out the bag and almost scores an absolute worldie. Maybe you should just do that more often. Is that just have a pop for 50 yards?
Just tee him up.
Just have a go, mate. Yeah, don't worry about thinking about it. That's how Carlton Cole scored most of the goals. Put him 1-on-1, he couldn't finish. But Swiveland's volley from the edge of the area, and it top bins every time. So yeah, I thought he was good. I think he gives us something a lot that we spoke about last week, didn't we? But he gives us something a bit different to anyone else, and that's why Moyes likes him. And I think he did give us that in stages against Leeds on Monday night.
Yeah, friend of the show as well, Jack Rosser from the Evening Standard did an excellent interview with Pablo in the week. So if you haven't read that already, some great stuff about some Cockney words he's picked up since he's been in East London. He got told off for using a Cockney swear word on a international TV interview last week, I think it was. So do head over to the Evening Standard, have a look at that interview with Jack, because it was good stuff. Right, lads, last couple quickly before we move on to the Betway charity bets with special guest this week, Tracy Tombides, Dylan Tombides' mum, James, of course, playing for the DT38 Foundation, and it was would have been Dylan's 27th birthday on Monday. So great to have Tracy join us. That is coming up next. But just before we move on to that, Declan Rice in his interview afterwards, Tom, I could just imagine you at home, especially after I saw those tweets as well. You must have been absolutely beside yourself. Whether or not you were still compos mentis enough to watch the interview is a different question. Did you see Rice's interview after the game, and what did you make of it? Obviously, just he seems to earn himself more friends in the media and amongst West Ham fans every time he speaks. But first thing he said, no, disappointed with the performance.
Yeah, I did manage to see it just about, was in bed after that. But no, I loved it. Yeah, I thought we weren't good. And I think the fact that the players are now coming out and admitting that, it's showing how high the standards are. I remember watching some drab performances in the past teams, and you cover it, as you name it, say, are we good to get today? But unlucky, and it's just so to have a club coming out is to hear that's refreshing, and it shows where as a team right now what they really believe they're capable of. And for someone so young, 22, to speak the way he does, to have such control, his position, his ability, and so in himself and those around him is pretty special to watch develop like this very eyes. So long may it continue, and I think when there'll be more than rare, a lot more interview.
Well, James, what did you think of Declan after the game, and then just give us your thoughts, because I thought it's good. He's brilliant. He comes out and he's honest about David Moyes giving him a grilling over the Jesse Lingard penalty thing. There was a bit of me that thought, okay, I appreciate you don't want to be selfish, but you're the captain now. If you've been told you're on penalties, you're on penalties. I think he probably got away with that one a bit because he's light-hearted and it went in. But he is right, isn't he? That, if Lingard had have missed that, Declan Rice admitted it after the game. He'd been given a grilling, and Moyes is right to give him stick for that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree, but he's still early on in his captaincy career and those responsibilities that he's got. He's still very, very young. He'll learn from that. Obviously, David Moyes would have been in his ear, and he's already said that he was in his ear after the game. And I think that the bulk of that post-match interview showed the leadership qualities that he's already got. He spoke so well and was brutally honest about the performance. But he's going to make mistakes. He's still learning from a leadership point of view, and you could even say that Mark Noble's still learning from a leadership point of view. You don't get it right straight away, and he'll learn from those little things. So, yeah, it turned out to be okay, all right on the night, as they say. But it could have gone the other way. But I'm sure he'll be the penalty taker moving forward. Well, David Moyes did say that he's not going to tell anyone. He's going to keep that close to his chest because he doesn't want opposition teams to know who's going to be a penalty taker moving forward. So maybe it was deliberate.
Yeah,
no one knows.
That's so weird, though. Don't you find that peculiar?
Little 1%, mate. 1%,
it's
mate.
not, is it? It's not, is it? Everyone knows that Jorginho takes Chelsea's pens. Everyone knows that Bruno Fernandes takes United pens. Everyone knew before Noble took ours. So that's such the weirdest take I've ever heard.
But when you've got two potential penalty takers, I mean,
Lingard's taken one and missed one.
it's a spanner in the works. Like the keeper's like, right, who do I practice for? Do I practice for Declan Rice? Do I practice for Lingard? Do I practice for, I don't know? It could be Suchek.
Cresswell, he should be on all dead ball situations.
It's just a touch of Moyes magic. That's the reason the keeper palmed it back to Lingard, because of that. He didn't know he was doing it, so he's overcooked the jump. He's then playing it back to our Lingard boy.
That's it.
Ridiculous stuff. Oh, look, I'm buoyed last week after sticking my neck on the line, going against you two yes men, and suggesting that, you know what, no, but Bielsa isn't all as good as he's cracked up to be. I've got a little bit of support on Twitter, actually, a few people getting in touch saying, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying about that, Will. So I'm happy to go against the grain and say that nope, Jesse Lingard should definitely be considered for no more penalties or dead ball situations for the rest of his West Ham career. And in fact, Declan Rice should be taking the penalties, if not Cresswell. But all that, I don't want people to know who our penalty taker is. Absolute codswallop. Lads, as always, we haven't done one of these for a few weeks, but we asked the We Are West Ham fans for their opinion on a big topic earlier on today. And, there's been lots of talk recently about what would it be like to get into the Champions League. Obviously, it would be fantastic. But I was asked today for an interview elsewhere where I realistically think West Ham can finish. And I said, I think it's the Europa League, but I think we've been playing really well this season. That's undoubted. We've got some big teams coming up. We'll have a defeat or two in us, undoubtedly there. Other teams around us, specifically Chelsea and Tottenham, have hit good form. And I think it would be completely reasonable to say, if we get in the Europa League from the position we're in now, then happy days. It is still really, really tight. So even that isn't guaranteed, is it? But we asked the We Are West Ham fans what they thought earlier on Twitter at @WeAre_West Ham. If you want to get involved in these and don't follow us already. West Ham fan opinion update. Where are the Hammers going to finish this season? Champions League, Europa League, 8th to 10th, or bottom half? I don't know if either of you have seen either of the results, but what do you two think before we let everyone know what the We Are West Ham listeners said?
So negative, mate. You didn't put title winners in there. Can't believe it. Europa League for me, as much as obviously we'd all love Champions League, that's the dream, isn't it? But I think realistically, Europa League's the more likely. And I'm not turning my nose up at it at all, even if Champions League still in with a shot. I think we need to be realistic, and Dave has made sure we all keep our feet on the ground a little bit this season anyway.
Europa League, Tom?
Europa League as well. I think every single thing has to go right and finish in the Champions League, and it absolutely can, and we've got the team to do it if that does happen. But I just think there'll be too many factors, too many good teams below us, so I think we'll probably just end up in the Europa League. and that'll be the season. That'll be anyway.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, the We Are West Ham listeners back all of us, to be honest. 9% think we'll finish in the Champions League. 76% say we'll finish in the Europa League. 14% say we'll finish 8th to 10th, and just 1% said we'll finish in the bottom half. But look, I mean, it would be a huge achievement either way. There is a very real possibility that we won't even get in the Europa League. I think I've certainly been guilty of just assuming that it's all going so well that we'll be absolutely fine. And I dare not mention the prospect of Mikel Antonio getting injured and us being left with no strikers, because as I said, David Sage will be all over me on Twitter. But that is a very real possibility, isn't it? He's had a good run of games recently, Antonio, but there's every chance he could be out for 2 or 3, and we could be looking a little bit of a less intimidating attacking force than we currently do. But lads, great stuff on the Leeds game reaction there. As I